Here's another example of table functions. A little bit trickier question this time, but a little simpler solution in terms of table functions. So the question this time, let's say you really want to find out who is buying your expensive stuff, how many people buy more expensive stuff than inexpensive stuff. So how many customers are buying more of your pricey products than your inexpensive products? And we have, again, the same simple model, focusing now on the sales table and the customer table. This is what we're after, the net account of the customers buying the pricey products. Again, how to solve a DAX problem. What are you after? You're after a count of customers who bought more expensive products than cheap ones. So you're also going to have to count that, the number of expensive versus cheap. And so how do you translate that into what am I filtering by? So you can start from the inside out. You know that you'll have to filter the sales table for sales where the unit cost of the product was, say, greater than 500. That's how we're defining pricey, is that what it cost us to produce it was more than 500, where the unit cost is less than 500. We need those two numbers. And we know we're also going to have to filter the customer table to find those customers who bought more pricey than cheap products. And in a way, you'd think, oh, well, this can't be that hard to solve. It's not, and it's kind of a common question to ask. It's actually a little tricky. So the formula, a lot of stuff here. We're going to break it down bit by bit. But you can see right off the bat, we're going to do a couple of count rows. We're in fact going to do 3 count rows. And there's going to be a filter on the customer table. Remember that count rows will always take one thing. It's going to take one parameter, and that's a table. So what we do know is that all of this filter stuff, garbage, is a table. It's going to give you a table. Breaking it down bit by bit, you've got, let's start with the count rows. Remember, we're going to have a count of the number of rows where the sales unit cost was less than 500 and where it was, or excuse me, greater than 500 or less than 500. And we're going to compare those two sets. So you get a set, you get a number, whatever, it's 36, that is where the unit cost was greater than 500, and maybe 100 where it was less than 500. You're going to compare that, and then you're going to count those. But you're also going to have the filter for the customer in mind. You're going to have to be iterating. Oh, to get a count of how many customers bought these, we need to filter on the customer table. So filter is an iterator, remember, and what's going to happen is it's going to go for each customer and take this expression and add, is this true or false? And if it's true, it's going to count it as 1. So there needs to be that relationship, of course, between the sales table and the customer table. Going through one row at a time, customer A, did they buy more pricey products than they bought cheap products? There's that count rows. And that's where this related table comes in. So it's remembering that this count rows also needs a table, one parameter. So you're going to walk over to the sales table and you're going to say, give me for each customer, which of that's where the related is. It's related on the customer key. Is this row one where the unit cost was greater than 500, or was it less than 500? And if so, count it and then apply it to that customer. So, and do the same thing for customer B. Then you're going to sort of sum up all those counts for each customer and compare how many customers bought more pricey products. So you end up with this this number here of the count of the customers in 2007 buying pricey. And for your information, a lot more bought our inexpensive products. So that's the end of that. Again, I encourage you, because I whipped through it, to go through and look at it a little bit more slowly. And thank you again for listening.